Afternoon. Michael Mazarang here again, and today I'm down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. As with many of these charming old southern towns, the real estate market is showing a huge interest in some of these older houses, and today I want to talk about some of these older houses. If you're looking to buy one or fix one up, kind of what you're getting into. And we'll walk around this house and show some things that we've done foundationally, and to hopefully give you a better idea of when you invest in one of these old houses. This old place was actually, there was an accounting firm in here, and so the accountants, being accountants, took really good care of this house. You know, it's a 100-year-old house. It's got a brick foundation, and then you can see it was fairly well maintained over the years. It's got an old brick foundation. It is vented. You can see some of the vents here that were installed. These are actually post-construction vents, and then some of the original vents are here. And on the back side of the home, certainly this was added later. This is an addition section. You can see the difference in the brick, this is block foundation here comparatively to the brick foundation of the original structure. We were consulted by one of our customers to beef up the foundation on this house. This house will most likely be flipped, and the foundation being the biggest concern when you're looking to buy some of these. On average, you can spend, $40,000, $50,000 upgrading an old foundation. This house, because it was commercial, was in much better shape, and we'll walk around. Let's look at the floor system. The floor system on these old hardwood floors is pretty firm. We had a soft spot here on the floor system, and in the original section of the house, which we're in now, that's 100 years old, these floors were extraordinarily soft. And you can see now some of the renovations are of course underway, and we're going to focus on the crawl space. But before you can even consider painting the walls and doing cosmetic repairs to a structure such as this, even perhaps redoing the floors, because these floors certainly have potential to be buffed down and restained and would look pretty nice. Unless you address the foundation challenge, a lot of folks will make the big mistake of putting $60,000, $80,000 into a renovation on an old house like this and not spend a penny underneath in the foundation. And that's the biggest mistake that you can make. So definitely want to be prepared for that contingency. We did do some foundation work on this house, doubled the amount of crawl space piering on the home to stiffen these floors up. And certainly you'll see here we had to remove the ductwork, which we'll see down underneath, to open up the work area. This is where the main, the return was, the big old heavy metal return line. When you're renovating these older houses, often the ductwork is really old metal ductwork. You cannot properly clean the floor system of mold, get rid of the debris, or perhaps even stiffen the floor system by installing additional piers, unless you pull out that old ductwork. So you better budget several $1,000s to pull out the ductwork and then consult with an HVAC contractor to re-duct once all those repairs are completed. But again, as you'll see, this house, pretty well maintained. And the fact the accountants really did a good job with this. This was a pretty good pick for my customer who bought this house. And with a good investment, we'll get a good return based on the real estate market down here in the South right now. So let's go look at the undercarriage so you can see what a structurally enhanced foundation would look like. Here we are at the Crawlspace entrance. We're going to crawl up underneath this home. When I first looked at this house, I could barely get around because of all the ductwork. And you can see here, we have put down some of the plastic, and you can see here, we're doing a row of CMU piers to reinforce the floor system. And this was chosen to, you can see the original chimney foundation here, which is in the middle of that main room out front. Some of the original Crawlspace piers are here, and they're in pretty good condition. But because of the performance problem with the floor, this could have been an issue at resale once this house is on the market again. So adding additional pattern of CMU piers is being performed here. And you can see another pier that was built here and another pier here perpendicularly to the floor system. What we're going to do here is add structural steel instead of dimensional lumber. Structural steel is much easier to use, and of course you're getting higher capacities. And these are standard 8x16 CMU piers on 24 by 24 by 8 inch footings. And you can see the same thing here. Here's some more of the piers that have been constructed, and we're just waiting on, of course, the installation of the steel members, which will be done here in the next day or two. But you can see there was a large amount of debris under this house, and that debris has been removed. Decades of debris. The floor system was caked with microbial material, so an industrial cleaning program was chosen, and we have a couple of chemicals that we can apply. We have a certain chemical we use with heavy microbial manifestation, and another chemical that we use when it's more routine. But you can see, not only are we destroying the mold or killing the mold, but we're removing the source load. And look at how nice this wood looks. This is a 100-year-old house. So, you know, it looks pretty darn good based on our cleaning procedure. And you can see now we're doubling the amount of support for this floor system. Will certainly pay dividends down the road as far as getting an extra, hopefully 20, 30,000 on this flip. So, you know, you can see the value of spending a proper amount of money on your foundation when you invest in these old houses. And be sure that you're going to allocate the proper budget for a foundation improvement. And it's often wise to bring in a structural engineer on these types of projects. We have one for this project where the engineer decided where the piers are going to go, and that documentation can be generated for any contractor to follow. Certainly on a house that's 100 years old, let's talk about encapsulating. I'm seeing a massive amount of encapsulation quotes for old houses. Old houses are built with the stacking effect as any new house is, but especially the older houses are especially vulnerable to doing expensive encaps that do not work. If you have an old house that's 100 years old, 80 to 100 years old, you do not want to encapsulate the crawl space. You'll actually potentially cause more problems than you realize. It's better to just put down a sensible vapor barrier, as you see we're doing here, and to keep the house ventilated as it was designed. You'll be able to have much more control over the moisture, as old houses of this vintage ventilate naturally. So don't get flim-flammed by an encapsulation salesman trying to get you to encapsulate an old 100-year-old house. It just doesn't work. And if you want to have a second opinion on that, contact any structural engineer and they'll tell you that. I mean, so do not encapsulate an old house like this. handle the structural deficiencies, repair any rotten wood, and bring in an engineer to help beef up the floor system. In the old days, they didn't care about level floors. So by doubling up, adding supplemental drop girders as we are in this house, you're going to be able to improve the floor performance, and you're going to be able to make this house really pop at that point of resale. So we certainly appreciate you joining us today in regards to structural repairs on an old house. And if you have any questions about, you're looking to buy one of these old houses, I would say probably about 1 in 5 of these pop up where they're in a favorable condition like this. I would say the other 4 are generally so torn up and so beat up that you end up being stuck with a money pit. And if you got plenty of money to spend, that's okay. I love old structures too, but just be prepared and understand that you got to start down here first before you do any cosmetic repairs to the structure. And that is so important. Have a specialist look at it before you buy it. Or if you're gonna buy it, the real estate market is so fast, or houses are going so fast right now. Sight unseen, I'm hearing more and more of that. Make sure that you put $40,000 on the foundation so that you don't get stuck on the backside with a problem that you didn't realize. So, and of course, we're happy to answer any questions that you have about that. Again, this is Michael Masserang. Give us a call. We'll be happy to have a phone consultation or set an appointment to come see you if you are in the Charlotte market or Rock Hill here in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is right on the border. But we certainly do a fair amount of these now on a regular basis. So our guys are really seasoned at doing Crawlspace retrofits, the cleaning, the mold cleaning, the building of the CMU piers. We do it by the book. We're able to pass any inspection. And of course, the engineers have no problem certifying our installed work. So hope you have a good rest of the afternoon, and we look forward to speaking with you soon about these old houses, and hopefully we can help you get to where you need to go. Enjoy your afternoon. Thank you very much. Take care.